Okay, hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. Today we have a special, another kind of reoccurring segment we have brought to you by channel sponsors Wrist Candy Watch Club. Of course, essentially when it comes to sponsored content, I try to be a little bit outside of the norm, which you'll probably see on YouTube, and essentially I don't do like a sponsored paid review, if you will. Instead, I will do some product placement, do some shout outs, and just kind of let you guys know what I think about the brand sponsor. And Wrist Candy Watch Club is definitely a company that I feel comfortable kind of aligning my brand with, because I think they offer a lot of great value. I mean, it's not super luxury stuff, but you know what? It's a bit of a luxury to be able to buy so many straps and have so many different colors and styles whenever you want. So a lot of cool options that they have. A little quick sample of what I'm talking about would be some of their Perlon straps, as you can see here. Really nice, great for the summer, really cool color combinations. Of course, that will go well with really any watch. And look, you can actually see through them, so you can just tell just how breathable those are. And again, there's not too much to these types of straps. You know, one of the nice things is they are heat sealed, as you can see there. Let me get the camera to focus a bit. So you can see that that's good to go. You do have metal clasps and everything like that. Nothing super crazy, you know, no advanced polishing or, you know, anything, you know, really milled out or anything like that. But you know what? It's quality stuff, and for the price, it's definitely worth it. You're not going to overpay and kind of under-receive, which is very nice. But today's wristwatch ramble and rant is something that it's kind of been building up for a while, that I've been noticing more and more, especially in the comments section of my videos and other reviewers' videos. And the thing I want to talk about today is ETA Snobbery. If you can believe that. Yes, guys, there's actually a segment of watch owners that are actually ETA snobs, which I just am blown away by. So essentially, you'll see a review for a certain watch, any type of brand. It happens to not have an ETA movement, and somebody basically says, go get this other watch, because then at least you'll get an ETA, not some Sellita yuck or Miyota yuck, whatever, you know, kind of insert in ignorant, really, sentiment here, right? And it's something that I really want to talk about, because obviously there's a lot of new guys to the hobby, and sometimes all you're doing is, you know, you're kind of reading, you're learning, and I don't want people to read that stuff and kind of take it as the gospels, because there's definitely more to the story. And it's kind of funny that somebody could even be an ETA movement snob, considering, you know, ETA provides generic movements. They're not in-house. You can kind of consider them in-house if they're part of the Swatch group, which, you know, all those essentially then they might have the actual benefit of an in-house ETA movement. But here's an ETA movement that's very popular. It's the 2824, and this is a really nice high spec here. Blued screws, you know, regulated by Zinn, so it's a German company, and this is a nice movement, right? It's good to go. It does its job inside of a nice watch. It does have an ETA, but Zinn also uses Sellita movements. Even ETA used Sellita movements, because ETA paid Sellita to manufacture movements for them in the past. So that's another kind of thing that I think people forget when they're ranting about, oh, why are you getting a Sellita movement? I mean, come on, Oris is full of Sellita movements. Guys, this Monta Triumph, one of my favorite watches in my collection. Love this bad boy. Sellita movement, SW300, right? So this is not, you know, an SW200. This is an SW300. It's going to be more comparable to the the 2892. I know that there's the 94, which is the chronograph module on top, and then I believe the 93, which is the GMT. But essentially, it's a slimmer, more advanced movement, and yes, it is based off of an ETA, but a higher tier ETA than the 2824. So, they're not really comparable. Although, yes, Salida is the secondary versus ETA the original. At the end of the day, both of these watch brands are sourcing their movements from outside vendors, right? So it's not like you're getting the ETA, the in-house goodies when you're buying a watch, let's say from Zen. And to compare these two and say because one has an ETA, it means it's better, I mean, it's ridiculous. Everything about this watch, about the Triumph, is better finished, better tolerances. Everything is better. It doesn't have as much water resistance, but it's not trying to. It's, obviously the Zen is trying to be a bit more of a capable kind of tool watch and that aspect, and being 200 meters water resistant versus 150 meters. But at the end of the day, neither of these are divers. You probably won't go over 30 meters, and either of them will be really well equipped, considering that they have screw down crowns and are rated well above that. So it blows my mind, guys. We just need to stop the insanity to say that if it's not an ETA movement, then it's no good. I mean, look at this bad boy right here, another one of my favorites, and this is in the much more affordable range here from Notice. This bad boy's packing a Miyota 9015, and it's a great movement. This one is still a spec beast. It's very comparable to the Zen as far as the fact that it's 200 meters water resistant, has a 4 hertz movement in it, so a nice smooth sweeping second hand there, and the fact that it's just built to be kind of an everyday tank, and it just has all the basically all the features that you would need for an everyday watch. But yeah, it doesn't have an ETA movement. Are ETA movements bad? I'm not saying that at all. I mean, there's also STP movements that are out there that's that has used in the past, and I like those. They're inside of a lot of good watches, like the Zodiac watches, right? I own a Zodiac, and I really enjoy their SCP movement that has the swan neck regulator on there. It's really cool, but at the end of the day, yes, it's based off an ETA design originally, right? The 2824. It's been around a long time. So just one of the things I kind of want to mention and kind of keep clear to you guys is, if you're kind of new to the hobby and whatnot, I would definitely take it with a grain of salt when people are talking about, Salida trash. I mean, yes, there can be bad batches of movements. That's part of when you're a watch manufacturer and you don't manufacture movements. You can't really regulate the movements. I shouldn't say regulate. Of course, you can regulate their timing and everything, but you can't choose if you get a good batch or a bad batch. That's just how it is. If you buy a car, not every car manufacturer makes their own suspensions. Actually, none of them probably do, except for extremely high-end ones. For the most part, they go to suspension manufacturers and they buy their dampers and shocks from there, right? Their springs. So, when it comes to this kind of idea of wristwatches, I just think it's kind of silly that there are people that are really bragging about having an ETA movement in their watch, because I mean, it's a generic movement, it's a workhorse movement, it's not really something to puff your chest up about. And I don't know what happened in the watch industry recently with some of the fans there, where people are just going on and just kind of slamming anything that doesn't have an ETA movement in it. Remember, guys, ETA movements are, a lot of reason why brands went away from them, even mainstream brands, is because they were trying to taper off providing the movements. They were trying to make them less available and make them more exclusive to Swatch brand watches. So people turned away from them. And now that they're kind of back in the rotation, people are still very iffy about taking them back. There's nothing wrong with them, of course. But, two examples of two very handsome and excellent watches for their price ranges that don't have ETA movements, that I think it's not a hindering factor. If they were to put, let's say, an ETA 2892 in here, would I really think that it somehow makes it a better watch? I'm gonna have to say no. I don't think that it would. And I love those ETA movements of 2892 and 2893, even the chrono moduled 2894. But you know, you have something like a Miyota movement. Hey, it works. It does the job. It's not the most pretty movement. And actually, it's a lot more handsome than many ETA movements as far as some of the finishing goes on the base model anyway. Of course, when you start getting to some of the higher end finishes and additions and whatnot, you're going to get a higher level. Of course, there's also everything that the watch brand can do to regulate the movement. So you're going to get, there's different variables, but I just don't want people to think, especially if you're kind of new to collecting, that somehow having an ETA movement is making your watch something to brag about. Watches are so much more than just a movement, and if you really believe that everything has to be in-house and you're just such, you know, a horological savant that you must have everything to the highest level, guess what? You shouldn't be touting an ETA movement as the end-all be-all anyway. So with that said, let me know what you guys think. Again, thank you. I'll try to keep this one short. Thank you to Rich Candy Watch Club for you know, motivating me to put out segments like this that aren't just straight up reviews, but you guys can look forward to those. Definitely a lot more to come. Risk Candy Watch Club. Really cool combination strap here. As you guys can see, this is one that we actually did in kind of collaboration with them. They had their standard black combo strap here. And I said, hey, well, what about the guys who want something a little bit more earth toned? So we said, how about a little blue canvas, a little chocolate brown, and it's nice and thin. Obviously, it's not super thick. It's not meant to be some big, you know, tool strap you're gonna strap on while you're about to go climb a bunch of rocks. But it's definitely a nice slender strap that can slide right in and behind some you know, a case back through the lugs, and really have a nice sleek and casual look to it because of the color palette. So again, thanks to big thanks to Risk Candy Watch Club. Guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Am I crazy? Is like ETA just the greatest? I mean, come on guys, it's a little crazy, the comments with the get yourself this watch because it has an ETA movement, and you're comparing you know, watches that are just in different classes just based on the movement. It's just kind of crazy. Big fan of Monta, big fan of Notice. Neither of them are ETA equipped. Also a big fan of Zin, and they use Salida movements as well. They use Soprod movements. And this one just happens to have an ETA, and I like it. And if it didn't have an ETA, it wouldn't have really swayed me. As long as it had similar specs, still, I would still want the watch. So with that said, let me know if you liked the video. If you did, please do hit like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.